Call our meeting to order at 7:02. And I think that what we're going to do tonight, I'd like to ask you to stand. I'd like to have us take a moment of silent prayer for police officers' families and the families of our own community that have lost loved ones locally and across our country. So if we could stand, and then we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance after this moment of silent prayer. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm sorry, you'll have to bear with me. I kind of had a cold, so I'm kind of sounding pretty husky, but I'll try to move right along and not keep you too long. Okay. Again, I would like to just reiterate that our town board meetings are for town business only. We're not here for political agendas. We're not here for personal issues in town, and that kind of business needs to be taken care of elsewhere. So if we can stick to just town business, it'd be greatly appreciated, and we'll do our best to work together and move forward for the best interest of our town. Okay. We'll open up the privileges of the floor at 7:04.
Michelle Van Wert, I don't know if you want this out loud or not.
Feel more comfortable. Okay.
1924 Stafford Road. I noticed on the agenda tonight, there's a resolution to move the cameras out of Mr. Miller's offices, which I'm glad to see that, and hopefully that'll pass. But what I'm most concerned about tonight is the procedures surrounding FOIL requests for the town of Princetown. I feel the town clerk is not properly handling these procedures set forth
Michelle,
by...
could you speak up just
I'm sorry, by the Freedom of Information Law. On June 16th, Thursday, I asked town clerk Sandra Fortune for a FOIL request of video footage of the town hall lobby of the June 14th town board meeting. On June 20th, I received the 5-day response that Mrs. Fortune always returns to people who ask for FOILs, and which said she will contact the relevant departments for input. On Wednesday, June 15th, on June 20th, also later in the day, I received another email from Mrs. Fortune indicating that the FOIL was not available because the matter, and I quote, has become a criminal matter. And that criminal matter, Mr. Miller was not, it says the video is now in evidence in a criminal case and I do not have the authority to release it. Eventually it may be foiled through the DA's office. And that was on the 20th at 11:23 a.m. Mondays, I know Mrs. Fortune works on, obviously, my request on the Thursday, she didn't see until the Monday, which I understand by the 20th. However, on June 15th, Mike Joyce asked for the same request, the exact same request as my request. He asked for footage, etc., via email too. And it was kind of confusing because it didn't go to Sandy Fortune at princetown.net. It went to GOP Sandra Fortune and a redacted email, which that's fine. It doesn't matter where it went as long as it was complied with. And Mrs. Fortune sent the 5-day response to Mr. Joyce. On June 20th, so I guess basically what my concerns are, that Mr. Joyce, according to the records by the FOIL officer, indicated that his request was completed on the 28th, and he paid a $10 fee for the electronic DVD. Mr. Joyce received his video on or about the 27th or 28th when he paid for it. On the other hand, my request on the 20th was denied. However, it was denied by Mr. Miller because he said the matter was in criminal, it was part of criminal evidence. So why did Mr. Joyce get his video after the fact of me sending my request? So basically, that was my concerns about the procedures surrounding FOIL and selective response in completing them. Just one last thing. I believe that Mr. Joyce went directly to Mr. Miller. I believe that he got the copy of the video directly from Mr. Miller. If he had sent in his response to a request to Mrs. Fortune on the 15th, she usually turns around and sends those out within the next 20 days. And hers, he got his, so she had to fabricate, in my opinion, a June 27th response. And I believe that Mr. Miller had no authority to release this or any videos containing footage containing any kind of matters that go on in the town hall.
Okay, anyone else?
Thank you, Mr. Myers. My name is Pasquale Fusco. I'll keep this brief in relation to town business. About a week ago, my mother, who happened to be the mother of former Justice Van Wert, received an anonymous letter, and I'm bringing this about in town business because the town of Princetown has a little problem to deal with. There's been a series of letters sent out, and I'm not even going to read this because the language is awful, and it required me to render some medical attention to my mother. She's 80 years old, in poor health, and it was pretty bad. So, you know, it's obvious some political opponents of former Justice Van Wert that are behind this. I'm not going to name any names, but this has got to stop in this town. It's really got to stop because it's not the way this town was when my sister first moved here. She loved it, still loves it, and I think you as a town really have to deal with this because it's in the paper all the time. It really puts a black mark on this town. So in the reference of town business, I think everybody's really got to look deep at, who might be behind this, work on keeping it fresh and keeping it good in the interest of all the town members, and return Princetown the way it was. Me personally, this didn't bother me. Didn't bother my sister. And I have three other brothers that know about this. Didn't bother them, but it upset my mother. And I think everybody really has to look at what kind of town Princetown wants to be. Okay, so no skin off my back. I just hope it doesn't continue. We're looking into other avenues, but I really want the town to understand what's going on and how to possibly get rid of this sort of thing and become a small, semi-rural country town and be a great place to live. So thank you for your time.
Jim Pavoli, Vernon Drive. I'm just going to report on the computers that we had installed. But before I do, I just want to react to this gentleman's comment. He's right. I mean, these letters are horrific. They're unsigned. Well, actually, they're signed, but by fictitious people. They're absolutely horrific. I can't even believe what is written in these things. I can't believe somebody would use the United States mail to send them out. I can't believe they would commit such fraud. It's horrific. And I agree, they're awful. And I can see how your mom would be upset. Anybody would. The letters are just awful. Usually it's not until election time. Normally it's during the election campaigns when all this stuff comes up. But apparently there's a little head start. So I'm not going to belabor that point. My point is, we did get our computers. We installed the 6 brand new computers. And actually, I think we have one more to get installed yet, because it required some special wiring for some of the displays. But they're in, they're working. We're working on Time Warner to get the cable here. Once we do that, the combination of brand new solid state computers and Time Warner increased speed, really it's going to bring us into the 21st century here. So finally we're going to be up to speed with our computers and with our internet. Now I know there's been some concerns voiced, I think at the last meeting, why are we going with this vendor? Could we have saved a couple dollars here and there? You know what, I could have gone on the internet and bought these computers cheaper. I know that for a fact. However, we do not have an IT department in Princetown. We just don't. I spent 3 days fooling around with this at no charge. I volunteer it. So there is no IT department. We rely on this. They're about 10 minutes away. When we have problems, we call them on the phone and they send somebody up here and they fix it, and they fix it quickly. So we really need to have a relationship in addition to computers. It doesn't help us to save $100 on a computer and then have a problem and not have anybody to be able to rely on to come up. So we've been dealing with these folks since I've been in town. So, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. If somebody wanted to order them on the internet, I suppose we could save a couple bucks, but that's just not the way we've ever done business here. We work with these guys, they treat us well, and I know myself, I was here 2 days with them during the installations, and they're good guys. And we need that. We just don't have any other, I can't do it. I volunteer when I can, but I can't be on call 24/7. So, and that's the story. And we'll have Time Warner in hopefully shortly.
Carol McLean, Giffords Church Road. Couple of things. First of all, with regard to the letters, they've been going on for quite a while. The first person that sent them out has indicated to me that he was the person that sent it. I can't tell you anything after that. But whoever sends these type of things out, especially to prior Judge Michelle's mom, I don't even know if I have a word for that. You don't do that. That is not a civil thing. It's not ethical. Anyway, so I'll move on from that. Omnis, with regard to Omnis, I was the prior town clerk. One of our best vendors ever was Omnis. Whenever we had a problem, they were here quickly, and I think Judge Van Wert can testify to that whenever we were working together and had a problem. So they're an absolutely wonderful vendor. On top of this, I just wanted to talk about the volunteers that are bringing the wall to our town. I'm on the begging committee, as in the donation committee. Cheryl Esposito brings in the funds. Anyone that ever wants to look at the funding that comes in and where it goes out, our books are always open, unlike another organization within town who has not provided that to the board. But one specific thing, we feel that we're going to be receiving state funds from possibly Senator George Amador. We have a meeting with him tomorrow. We've had numerous meetings with Assemblyman Santa Barbara. We may be getting money in from them. How that process is that the money comes into the town. So I would ask that the town board make a resolution, because we can't tell you at this point who it would come in from, or what department, or the exact dollar amount, but if you could make a resolution that anything that comes in before you, or to the town in whatever amount, but designated for the Wall That Heals and the volunteers that are doing this, that you can then turn those funds over. And that's how I've been advised by Assemblyman Santa Barbara to do that. So again, the funds are, amounts are unknown, and where they're coming from, but I'm sure the town wouldn't want to keep anything that was not for you, but for the town. So if at some point tonight, if you could make that broad resolution, we would appreciate it. And I think that's all. Thank you. Oh, no, additionally, yes. Moving the monitor out of the court is an excellent resolution in that there has been a FOIL violation in this whole situation, and no disrespect to Sandra, but the whole situation has been a violation. And in no way is the judge the judge that would determine how this goes out. You have to have a New York State hire a court judge that tells you you cannot continue with FOIL. Our judge in a town level has no authority to do that. All FOIL requests go forward, and no one has the authority to stop that. So this is really disrespectful of the FOIL law, and it is a law. So anyway, that was all. Thank you.
My name is Marilyn Miller, and most of you know me. I live at 793 Skyline Drive, and I would like to address my concerns about the resolution that you have on the agenda this evening. First of all, on October 21st, 2014, a resolution number 14-220, which was the Justice Court grant, and it read, upon the motion of Councilmember Jarzynski and seconded by Councilmember Myers, it is hereby resolved as follows. The Town Board of Princetown hereby approves Princetown Justice Judge Norm Miller to apply for a grant to the Office of Court Administration to provide surveillance cameras and appropriate hardware to provide visual security for the courtroom and to cover the hallways and outside town hall parking lot. This is a security issue. It's for the court. This is the courtroom. This is what it views. Are you people all upset at the fact that there's a camera in there that is viewing all of you as you sit here?
Yes.
Ma'am, can you direct your comments to the board, please?
Yeah.
Direct your comments.
Okay, well, it's viewing generally what goes on in the courtroom, what goes on in the hallways. Good heavens, if somebody walks out of their office and goes to the bathroom, is that something that you would be upset about, that being on that video? The idea of this being in his office is for protection, for the judge, for the court clerk. It is, you think that they sit there all day long and look at that camera? I'm not talking to you. Do you, members? Do you feel that way?
I do.
You people voted on this for him to apply for a grant in order to get that camera for court security. You all voted yes. It was a 100% vote on it. Judge Miller applied to the Unified Court System and was awarded $2,000 to purchase the surveillance system. An additional $629 was needed for labor and service. Judge Miller took $314.50 out of his personal budget for the additional charge, and the town provided $314.50. It was noted in the last meeting that the town owned the cameras. $314.50 was your input? This system is in the judge's and the clerk's office to provide security for them when performing their judicial duties. It allows the court clerk to feel safe when working in her office alone. She can view anyone entering the building or the parking lot. On occasions, she has called the police for assistance when she's noted someone strange in the parking lot. Now, what sense does it make for a system to be awarded to them for the security? What sense does it make for a system to be awarded to them for their security by the court system to be placed in a locked room for no one to view until after the fact of a potential danger? It's there for their protection. This is what this is all about.
Who wrote that for you?
I wrote it. And as for the judge, I'd just like to ask you, board members, just a couple of questions. Where were you on May 19th at 4 o'clock in the morning? I would guess that you were probably safely at home sleeping. Judge Miller was here in the court with the police and an individual who had committed a crime. This necessitated an arraignment. Certainly the cameras in his office were a comfort to his safety, to observe the parking lot at all entrances in the middle of the night. After police have gone with their criminal, he needs to complete court paperwork. Just one more question. Where were you the afternoon of June 19th? That was Father's Day. Would you have been celebrating a special day with family, friends, children? Again, Judge Miller was here with the police and an individual who, again, had committed a crime. An arraignment was performed, and the police left with their criminal, and Judge Miller, again, was here to complete court paperwork. Again, the security camera was a comfort to him when no one else was around. This is what it's all about. Not being able to view something after the fact. It's for their safety to see something that may be occurring before something happens, so that they may be able to call the police or get some extra help when someone is sitting in the parking lot and it has nothing to do with whatever they were working on. Current events are making it deadly for police and judicial workers. Yesterday in St. Joseph, Michigan, 2 court bailiffs were shot and killed by the defendant. Our court people need as much protection as they can obtain. This includes the immediate viewing of the court and surrounding hallways. Voting to remove this video surveillance camera from the judge's office would be a travesty and an insult to the court and common sense. It would only give way to the expressed hatred that drives such a person or persons to propose this resolution in the first place. I'm providing the clerk with the paperwork that I quoted from on the resolutions and the expense of the camera and the amount of money that was received from the grant, $2,000. Okay? And just my final, again, these are my words, my thoughts. I hope that you all sleep well tonight.
Next privileges of the floor.
Yes.
Nick Mara, Birchwood Drive. When I was supervisor,
Nick, could you step in so we can hear a little bit, please?
when I was supervisor, I had the sheriffs here and they carried guns. Okay? You can take all the pictures. Basically what she's saying is you're gonna take a picture of him getting shot and killed. Okay? If you're gonna have security in the car, they need to carry guns. Because there's nutcases out there, geez, I don't know. Let's watch the news and see what's out there in the world, okay? If half these people had guns on them while this stuff is going down, half these people wouldn't get killed. Yeah, they're gonna kill 4 or 5 people because they're nutcases, okay? But the rest of them, whoever's got a gun's gonna kill them. And that's the end of that. Instead of 50 people get killed, 5 people are gonna get killed, okay? You can take all the pictures you want, okay? That camera don't mean nothing, all right? He doesn't need the camera means nothing, I'm sorry. The camera means nothing. The camera's gonna take a picture of everybody dying. You wanna look at that? That's all what that amounts to, okay? You need armed security here, where if something goes down, they need to take out the element. There we are. And that's all I gotta say. You can say whatever you want. Cameras, you know, a camera's gonna take a picture of a disaster.
Just one more thing, I'm sorry. I have a couple of comments with regard to arraignments by the judge. For 16 years, I did arraignments, many during the night. I did one on Christmas Eve when my dinner was ready to be served. I was here with the officers. I left when they left. As far as paperwork goes, the next day, you can send that paperwork in. There's time requirements, 48 hours to send in a notice of securing order. You can send a securing order with the officer. So if Mr. Miller is doing paperwork, then he's doing his own paperwork. He's not doing required paperwork. Anything that has to go with the defendant goes with him when he walks out the door with the officers. So if he's hanging around here because he wants to be sure he gets his paperwork done, then that's on him. And if he thought that this was going to be too scary, then he probably shouldn't have run for judge, because it's all part of it. You called out all hours of the night. You have to do arraignments at any time of the day. And with what Mr. Morris said, when I was the judge, we did have officers here, 2 armed officers. Armed with weapons, with guns.
A picture's not gonna take care of it.
We had an incident happen here when a defendant, an actual defendant, came in with a gun. That gentleman was brought before me. He was taken out by two state troopers and processed next door. They had diffused the situation before the man walked through that front door. Now, is that always going to happen? I hope it doesn't ever happen again to anyone. However, a camera is worth 1,000 words? Well, maybe, especially if you want to talk about it after the fact.
Yeah, he's dead.
One more thing with regard to the JCAP application. That JCAP application was placed with the Office of Court Administration on the resolution by this town board. This town board accepted that resolution based on a quote of over $4,000 that Mr. Miller said he was going to use for security camera. Once he received his $2,000, he went to a lowball bid of $26.69. The town court did not pay for $669. It came from the town of Princetown funds. The line that it was used from was from the town of Princetown, not from the courts, not from Mr. Miller's personal funds. So basically, the $2,000 was a grant based on a $4,000 quote, which is being currently investigated as fraudulent. So I just had to make some corrections to that.
I got one more thing to say.
I would
Go
like
ahead.
to just say one more thing. I provided the invoice to your clerk as it came in, $6,000. Whatever other background information that has been obtained by other sources is, I have no idea where it came from. That's bona fide. That's what I've given you. And it shows the exact amount. And it shows exactly where it went and who gave it. $314.50 came out of Mr. Miller's account, a personal account.
And there's some bookkeeping errors somewhere, Maryland.
Well, Michelle,
You're not supposed
the
to talk to each
paperwork,
other.
I'm
the
sorry.
paperwork
You're not supposed to be
there
fighting with each other.
proves I gave it,
The board, please.
and that's
It's
it.
privileges of the floor, you talk to the board.
Sorry.
Okay.
I have a few things to say. The issue here, I think, is not the cameras. The issue is who has control of it, okay? And he being the only person that can access it is a problem and a concern that I have, okay? That everybody else should have. He's the only one that can get in there. He's the only one that can view it. It's not just for Norm Miller.
When's the camera on?
The camera is, if it's supposed to be for security, it's for the town,
During court.
for the whole town building, inside, outside, doesn't matter, okay? As I said before, that monitor for viewing, if and when it ever needs to be viewed, the police will contact you, Bob, because you are the supervisor. You need to have access to that video, not the judge. I've said before, okay? He's gonna have a predetermined outcome if he looks at it. He shouldn't be looking at anything. Nothing. He shouldn't have to view anything. He's going to arraign somebody, God forbid, if anything happens out here, he should have no knowledge of anything. He's going to do the arraignment. If, and with his own words, he said he would have to recuse himself. Okay? So now it's going to go to Duanesburg, Rotterdam. That's less income for us as well. Okay? So that's my 2 cents on the cameras. He should not have sole access to that. Now, as far as these letters, the timing is impeccable. They send them out, let's see, during election time. And generally, when anyone speaks out about the court.
This way, Lisa.
I received, as they know, 2 letters. I received one, and my husband received one. I'm flattered that you are interested in me and my family. I can't imagine how pathetic these people are. But if there's anybody that wants to know anything about me or my family, please text me, call me, or email me. I'd be more than happy to share with anyone that wants to know the truth. It doesn't, I think what this person is trying to do is a reaction or upset me. I'm not fearful. I'm not intimidated. I could care less what they think. And it is the opposition, okay? And I know who it is. And at the proper time, I will expose who it is, okay? They've sent letters to myself, my husband, Judge Van Wert, your mom, and whoever else got it, I don't know. You know, with all kinds of accusations. I guess after this meeting, I guess I'll be sleeping with the Pope, because, you know, these 2 letters, you know, I'm sleeping with half the town. So I guess my time management skills are much better than I thought. So thanks for the, you know, I'm flattered. You pass that along.
I don't want to, go ahead, Joe. I'm talking next.
You already talked, Nick.
I'm talking again.
My name is Joe Jasinski. I live on Ennis Road. I'm here tonight. First of all, the first gentleman that spoke tonight,
I don't need a
and
clipboard.
Jim, Bob, you gotta control the audience.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Nick, let me
Nick.
talk.
Go ahead, Joe. Go on, you got the floor.
Members of the public should restrict their comments to items of town business that's on the agenda. I've been hearing just all personal innuendo, the boogeyman thing about letters. I don't know anything about these letters, and I'm not saying that they don't exist, but the first gentleman and Jim Pavoldi talked about this town and about what's happening. What is happening? What's happened to respect? Why? I can disagree with you respectfully. You can disagree with me respectfully. What I'm seeing is disrespect constantly. I see Mr. Esposito talking with Michelle Van Wert in the audience while someone else was
I was
talking.
talking to my wife.
Well, that's good too, Lou. Anyway, it's really sad, and I don't know what to say, because I agree with both of you gentlemen that we should be able to get along. Really, without snickering in the audience, you know?
Should have thought about that when you were up there.
Anyway, see, look at. This is the kind of disrespect is rampant in
You get
town.
what you give.
Bob?
Okay, Joe, I'm listening.
Anyway,
You show the disrespect. You laughed in the audience last time, show disrespect. Go on, spiel your thing, okay? You want to show disrespect?
Nick, please. Okay, let's be fair, let's listen to,
I'm listening to him.
okay.
I'm listening.
anyway, that's not town business strictly, but it's too bad it's not. Last town board meeting, I asked 5 questions, and I'm wondering if you have answers.
I don't.
When do you think you will have them?
I probably won't.
Why?
You asked the questions, you got up and spoke, and I had that right.
You have that right. I, as a taxpayer, have a right to expect that my elected members of legislative body in town.
If you want to talk after the meeting, I'll talk.
No, I asked the questions in public. I would like answers in public.
I don't
Why
want
don't
to
you
give
call
my
Rick
answer.
Kalinsky up?
And what did you say about it?
I don't want to give my answer to you right now. I'll talk to you after the meeting. if you-
No, that's not acceptable.
Okay, then.
It's not acceptable, and I want the people of the town, whoever may be watching, to witness this.
Is
You're
there-
refusing to answer my questions in front of the town.
Yes, I'm refusing to answer your question.
Huh?
Campaign.
Okay.
My turn? Rick Kalinsky sat up there with Martha Proper here in a wheelchair and told her, we can do anything we want in this town, because we're on the board, okay? Little old lady in a wheelchair says, why are you treating my father like a piece of crap, okay? How far back you want to go? You ain't been here long enough, Joe, sitting where you are, okay? We've been here forever.
Nick, let's
Okay.
talk to the board, okay?
Okay. Everything these guys are saying, I've been through hell and so has he. And we're still here, because we gotta live in this town. You wanna talk about being nice to everybody? We're nice to everybody. I've been nice to my enemies. Okay, everybody in here has done bad to me and him, and guess what? We forgive. because that's what God wants.
Amen.
Am I right, Bob?
Amen.
Okay, forgive and forget. Okay, what do you want to do? People are people, they straighten out, they shape up. That's what happens. Okay, forget about that, let's go back to the court, okay? Me and Muriel, we went through hell to get court security here with the sheriffs. I signed the contract when I was supervisor, okay? Muriel tried. What did I do, Michelle? You need to go there. Me and Eric went there. Okay, we went to the county legislature, and I said to her, little girl, you need to go up there and say, I need help. I need security in my court. I didn't need security. If I was judge, I'd have my gun on me. You understand that? Little girl, go up there, and you go up there and you say, I need help. Guess what happened? When we signed the contract? 3 weeks later? Okay.
Mike Joyce got rid of that though, the security.
I understand that, but they had guns.
I know, but he.
You understand that the camera's not gonna save you. The camera's gonna take a picture of you dying. That's what the camera's good for. That is not security for me. Okay? That camera taking a picture of somebody shooting me, it proves they shot me. I'm dead. Okay? Those sheriffs had guns, they had the thing out here. I don't care what it costs. How's that sound? The court was making enough money at the time to cover it. Didn't cost the town nothing. Okay? It cost the court money. Just like the water department. Okay? You got your own budget. You got your own budget. It's government accounting, it's a budget. You got so much money to spend, and you can do with it what you want, basically with the town's approval. And then we all approved it, we got court security, and they got rid of it. I don't know what these jerks are that they got in here now, I really don't care. Obviously, they're not carrying guns. Okay? If they ain't got guns on them, you're at risk. Okay? They went in and shot all these cops up down in Texas. They killed them. Geez, why'd they kill them? Oh, they had guns on them. All right? You know, the whole country's screwed up. How's that sound? They ain't got nothing straight in their head, because good people don't shoot people, okay? Good people that got guns don't shoot everybody. They ain't gonna pull that gun out unless they gotta save somebody's life. Good cases are always gonna have guns, because they will find them, they'll make them. You're never gonna get rid of guns and all this violence and that. You gotta re-educate society, okay? In the meantime, this is what you got, okay? Court, the camera ain't gonna save his life, you understand that? That camera's gonna take a picture of him getting killed. That's all it's gonna do. And then you can go after who it is.
The camera is something better than nothing, which is what they're proposing to do. Just take the whole camera away and stick it in a locker.
We don't need it.
What is that?
They need guys with guns here when it's not court. That's what's gonna save them. Like I had. I had that.
All right.
Okay.
Good. I appreciate it.
I had it.
Okay.
And they got rid of it.
Anyone else before we close privilege of the floor? All right, we'll close privilege of the floor at 7:45. And we'll move on. Sandy, if you would go ahead and start and give a couple of corrections on stuff when you get there.
Hereby resolved that the meeting minutes of June 14, 2016 regular meeting and the June 28, 2016 special meeting are approved or as amended.
Okay, we have a motion to accept that. Doug?
I'll say it.
Tom?
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Councilman Esposito?
Yes.
Councilman Liddell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Supervisor Myers?
Yes.
General fund claims. It is hereby resolved that the town board approves claims number 149 to 169 in the amount of $30,919.63.
I'll make a motion.
Tom?
Second.
We have a second?
Yes.
Councilman Lavelle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Supervisor Myers?
Yes.
Water fund claims. It's hereby resolved that the town board approves claims 55 to 60 in the amount of $2,543.67.
A motion to accept that?
I'll make it.
Doug? Lou?
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Councilman Esposito?
Yes.
Councilman Lavelle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Supervisor Myers?
Yes.
Highway claims. It is hereby resolved that the town board approves claim number 2 in the amount of $26,471.61.
I'll make the motion. Second.
Doug? Tom?
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Councilman Esposito?
Yes.
Councilman Lavelle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Supervisor Myers?
Yes.
Highway transfer. It is hereby resolved that the town board approves the transfer of $26,471.61 from account number 99019 to account number 5031 for repairs on River Drive.
We'll make the motion.
Doug? Tom?
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Councilman Esposito?
Yes.
Councilman Lavelle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Supervisor Myers? The return of funds held in escrow for Lowell Carson. It is hereby resolved that the town board approves the return of $2,000 held in escrow for Lowell Carson to cover legal and attorney fees for hookup to the water system. The project has been completed and a meter has been installed. Mr. Carson lives outside the district, so escrow funds will retire.
I thought it was installed.
Yeah, it is installed.
It is, it's completed. We have a motion to accept that?
I'll make it.
Doug? No second. Lou, second.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Councilman Esposito?
Yes.
Councilman Lavelle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Supervisor Myers?
Yes. Now before we go on with the next one, I do have a correction. I was not aware of the state time frame for the turnover as far as assessors. I was talking with Richard Kohner a while ago. I have in our resolution for his term to expire December 31st of this year. The state has a time frame of 6 years. So if we want to make a correction to that, it should be September 30th, 2019. And all the assessors, they roll over every 6 years. So that was news to me. I wasn't aware of that. I was looking at it from the standpoint of when somebody fills in, I figured it would be, they would have to. So that was my neglect. So if we can change that to 9/30/2019 for his term to expire. Okay, Sandy.
It is hereby resolved that the town board appoints Richard Tolner to the position of Princetown Assessor for a term to expire September 30th, 2019, at a rate of $30 per hour, not to exceed $16,000 annually.
Tom? Susan?
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Councilman Esposito?
Yes.
Councilman Lavelle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Supervisor Myers?
Yes.
Service agreement between the town of Princetown and Time Warner. Is hereby resolved that the town board approves the contract between the town of Princetown and Time Warner Cable for installation of one 15M times 2N broadband internet and 7 business class phones with unlimited local and nationwide calling. Installation charges will be $150 with monthly fees at $319.92. Approval is granted upon review of the town board's legal counsel.
I'll second.
Tom?
Councilman Gray,
Yes.
Councilman Esposito,
Yes.
Councilman Lavelle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer. Yes. Supervisor Myers.
Yes.
Supervisor to sign the agreement. It is hereby resolved that Supervisor Myers sign the contract between the town and Time Warner Cable.
Make a motion. Second.
Tom? Move.
Councilman Gray,
Yes.
Councilman Esposito,
Yes.
Councilman Lavelle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer. Yes. Supervisor Myers.
Yes.
Contract with Schenectady County for the control of snow, ice, and other maintenance and repairs on Princetown roads. It is hereby resolved that the town board approves the contract between the town and Schenectady County for snow and ice removal, as well as maintenance and repairs to town roads upon review by the town's legal counsel for a term to expire June 30th, 2017.
I'll make it.
Tom? Move.
Councilman Gray,
Yes.
Councilman Esposito,
Yes.
Councilman Lavelle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer. Yes. Supervisor Myers.
Yes.
Supervisor to sign the county road and maintenance agreement. It is hereby resolved that Supervisor Myers signs the contract between the town and Schenectady County.
Before we do that roll call, Sandy, I'd just like to bring to the board's attention to see if we should ratify the resolution that we passed at our June 28th meeting. Okay, because it was brought to my attention that we weren't supposed to vote on anything other than at our regular board meeting. So if we could just put that to a vote with the board tonight.
So add it in.
It'd be the same as what our resolution was for our meeting when we voted on the highway. Just to take the vote again.
Okay, I don't have the resolution in front of me right now.
Okay, well, we can add that then.
Okay.
And it'd be the resolution in regards to the road work for the paving that we're gonna have done
Yes.
for the plaza and
Susan has a copy of it.
Willow Run.
I have the agenda from that meeting.
Susan has it right here. She had it in file. So the one where we approved the paving of Princetown
Yes.
Plaza and Willow Run. So
Yeah, it was brought to my attention that we shouldn't have voted on that in a special meeting, so we're gonna do that now while we're discussing that.
Okay, it is hereby resolved that the town board approves the paving of Princetown Plaza and Willow Run by Empire Paving not to exceed the quoted amount of $51,818.
Have a motion?
I'll make it.
Lou?
Second.
Doug?
Councilman Gray,
Yes.
Councilman Esposito,
Yes.
Councilman Lavelle,
Since I live on Willow Run, I'll abstain from this vote. Thank you.
Councilwoman Schaefer,
No, I wasn't present for that, so I didn't see which way
Supervisor Myers.
Yes.
So now I'm going back to the signing of the, it is hereby resolved that Supervisor Myers sign the contract between the town and Schenectady County.
You have a motion?
For the,
Signing of the contract with Schenectady County.
I'll make it.
Lou?
I'll second.
Tom?
Councilman Gray,
Yes.
Councilman Esposito,
Yes.
Councilman Lavelle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer,
Yes.
Supervisor Myers.
Yes. All right, before we go on to that, our attorney, we're just gonna have a few words to state in regards to our next month, resolution.
You have a specific, what you want me to address?
Well, as far as the monitor are being moved.
Well, I mean, generally speaking, I think this town board has the right to do what they see fit with a monitor. I don't know what the board has discussed, if anything, if they want to discuss it now. But I haven't seen anything to say that it has to be in the judge's office. I do think there was an issue with that incident at the last meeting with access to the video after the fact. The fact that the judge is looking at it after the fact, and then he has to recuse himself. But I don't think Judge Miller needs to have access to it after the fact, and I don't think Supervisor Myers or anybody else has to necessarily have access to it after the fact. I believe what Judge Miller said was really for the police to take after an incident so that they can review the tape for purposes of investigating anything that might occur. Now, I do think Ms. Miller raises, in my opinion, and I'm not aware of it, there is something to having a real-time monitor for safety, if you want to consider it. I don't know what the cost would be if you moved the replay, after the fact access out of that office. But if you had a monitor, or quite frankly, whoever had a monitor to see what's happening as it occurs, then anybody could feel more safe by being able to see, while you're here. Isla might want one while she's here. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that request to alleviate concerns of safety while you're here. You can see it real time. But I think the real issue, the problem is the access after something occurs. Who has access to it? The fact that the FOIA request, other people were dealing with whether or not it should be released as opposed to the FOIA officer. There's an issue there too. Those are my two thoughts. 2777. I don't know what the cost would be to have an extra monitor for real-time viewing, but I don't think it would be anything too substantial. And I think that would alleviate Ms. Miller's concerns. And whoever else might want to see what's going on in the building if they happen to be here alone, Isla and Sandy, whoever else for that matter.
Can I just say something? In our schools, we have the security monitors that you can see somebody come to the door. It's not, it's just like a camera. They buzz it in the door. So you can view who's at the door, or who's coming in.
Okay.
Totally different than that.
So this is for board discussion at the moment. I'm not opposed to security, by no means, I'm not. But a number of years ago, the town did go through the expense of putting up the bulletproof glass door, the glass windows on all 3 offices. I guess my concern when I did talk to Judge Miller, I did go in and talk to him in regards to the situation, and he said it was for Rose's security. Well, I guess when he said that, I guess I kind of figured, well, why just Rose? Why not Sandy? Why not Isla? They all have the security glass. We put that there for protection. The only time that Rose would be here, or his clerk would be here alone, would be Thursdays, and the town hall is closed, so all doors should be locked anyway. So that was just some of my concern when I talked to Judge Miller about that, there was the possibility of this coming up on the board, and that was his concern. And again, I'm not opposed to security, by no means. I want all of us to be secure, but I don't see where it necessarily has to be in any certain place to where it has to be watched at all times. I mean, that's my own feelings. I think that, as it's already been mentioned, if there's an incident that takes place, whoever doing the investigation, whatever law enforcement, then they could come and they could get copies of whatever was needed. But as far as security, I guess I don't really know why we would really need to go to that extreme as far as, when the town hall is closed and we have all the security glass and doors. So that's just my input, my 2 cents.
I do have a question. I talked actually to Rose today, earlier, and she had mentioned to me how she had been working here one night. She was by herself, and there was a van with 4 adult men in it, and she would not have known that if it wasn't for the cameras. And the cameras weren't in the chamber. She can see the cameras right from her office. And her door is open all the time, so most people can see it. You know, you walk in and you can see the cameras. For security purposes and for liability, what if something were to happen and say they moved him into the historian's office and didn't know and she had left and got hurt? I would want that. I mean, if I were working here at any time, I think it's a security, you know, issue for protection. And I can't understand why you wouldn't want something like that.
Who's gonna notify anybody if nobody sees her fall down in the parking lot?
What do you mean?
When she walks out of the door,
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about there was somebody out there. Her son had come here while she was working to drop off her grandson, she had said, and he went out and actually talked to the people and asked them to leave. Well, they didn't leave. She ended up having to call the police and have them come down and get them out of here. What they were doing there, sitting out there, who knows? And the way everything is, I mean, Nick Mark had bring it up, it is pretty crazy. I would definitely feel more comfortable knowing that the court clerk is able to see what's coming and going, and I don't understand why there'd be any issue. I would think whenever there's cameras, to lock it in or have it in a historian's office, which I understand is only here on Wednesdays and not even every week, how often is that even going to be seen? And to have that equipment and to be able to use it and utilize it seems to be a plus. To lock it in a room, what's the sense of even having it? Just to go back in case something had happened? I just don't understand why there's an issue with having the cameras and having the monitors right over there.
election day, he was in the office watching who was walking in and out election day, and the town hall's supposed to be closed.
I don't understand.
Take it for what I said.
Yeah, we'll just wait and see if there's any further discussion. I guess,
What about the liability? What if Rose or somebody was to get hurt and
What's the liability when Sandy's in there and nobody's here? What's the liability when Isla's in here and nobody's here?
Same.
So it's only supposed to be for the judge's office?
No, but you're talking about putting it in the historian's
So
office.
then nobody's
Who's
in
never
the
gonna see
judge's
it?
office. She doesn't come in until 10 o'clock.
It's not in his office.
It's
right
at
in
9
the
o'clock.
court
She
first.
doesn't come in until 9 o'clock. Isla and Sandy are here at 8 o'clock. Where's their protection? Maybe we should put them monitors in all the offices then.
Maybe that would be a better thing. I don't
The town
understand.
wants to pay for it.
What I'm saying is, you have something that can be utilized for safety for some people.
Only for one person, I guess.
and it'd be different if it was just for the court night, but it's all the time.
Well, then maybe they should be moved, but I don't think they should be moved to the historians. And why couldn't the court clerk, and if it is for the court, and they had the money for it, they went after it, and it was for the court. So what if it's in here during a meeting while it's going on? I mean, what's going on that anybody doesn't want to be seen?
This thing between real-time viewing and post-treatment process. Two separate issues. I think we have to separate the real-time viewing, which I think what you're saying is similar to what I was saying. Have real-time viewing, but I think the issue beyond that is who's got access to the recordings after the fact. I don't know if you're including that.
No, I'm worried, I'm thinking more of the security, and it's something that can be utilized for safety now. And why would we lock something like that away in a historian's office that's not even here? And how many people even have access? It just seems like a waste to me. I think that's an asset to have, and I don't see if it's doing video in the board meeting here. So what? I mean,
For real time.
we're videoing the board meeting anyway, so I don't understand.
I think one of the reasons that I thought of as far as putting the historian was we can't get into the judge's chamber. We don't have keys to it. So, not yet. But, if security or law enforcement came and wanted to then we have to either call Rose or call Norm, and down and, you know, if they wanted it for an investigation. I personally don't care where it goes, it can go in the vault for all I care, as far as the monitor goes. But it doesn't matter just where it goes, it's just an easy accessibility, I think, is one of the reasons that we had to work with this story. But
I think it's a
When I got elected on the town board, we had one key and it opened every door in this building. Now all of a sudden, everybody's got a key and it's only for their office. And this has all happened in a very short time.
I mean, Bob, do you have?
If you were on the town board, you were supposed to be
I
reliable
have a key for the
citizen.
historian's office, but I don't have keys for everything, all the different departments in here. Which I think I should, but that's another matter. I'm not gonna look that
We will
right
have
now.
that when we.
When I was supervisor, I had the keys to everything in here.
When we put in the carbon monoxide detector, we will have keys to all the offices.
Well, if there's cameras here, I mean, if it's a security thing, then how much would more monitors be to put in to other offices? The people that are here all the time.
Well, it's something that could be looked at, but again, it's the aftermath that's the concern. You know, so having the actual monitor, hardware,
Well, if
equipment,
you're gonna end up having a key to the offices, then eventually you're telling me that what's the problem with leaving it in there? No, I understand.
well,
Because then you would have access to it.
yeah.
I'm just asking a question because I don't understand why you would take something like that, that's for security, and put it away because you're worried about what? That's the part I don't get, is where's the worry?
So why does it make any difference where it goes?
Because it can be used and can be an asset for somebody's safety currently, than to put it in a locked room where no one's watching it. I don't understand. I don't understand what would the
Do you think we
reason,
should have monitors in all the offices?
maybe assessors and the town clerk.
We'll go out and get estimates then and present it to the town board.
I will do that, but my point is why would you move it now, especially when you're saying you're gonna get a key, and you'd have access if that was your concern?
Keys are gonna go for the Knox box, in case there's a false alarm in the building when we put in that.
It just doesn't make
It's gonna be
sense to
monitored.
me.
All right, any other discussion? All right, Sandy, do you want to read the resolution?
It's hereby resolved that the security monitor that is housed in the judge's office be moved to the town historian's office to protect the privacy of those who do daily business with the offices in the town hall.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll make it.
I'll second it.
Lou?
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Councilman Esposito?
Yes.
Councilman LaBelle?
Yes.
Councilman Schaefer?
Absolutely not.
Supervisor Myers? State grant for ADA compliant electronic front doors to town hall. It is hereby resolved the town will pay for electronic ADA approved front doors at town hall and be reimbursed through a state grant secured by Councilmember Esposito and Assemblyman Angelo Santa Barbara in the amount of $11,000.
No,
Okay, that's wrong, sorry, that's another correction we need to make.
The grant is for $15,000 for the handicapped accessible doors. Angelo Santa Barbara has provided the grant. The total cost of the doors is going to be $15,675. So it's going to cost the town an additional $675. I'd like to thank Angelo Santa Barbara, I think the whole town board should, for providing this grant for the $15,000 for the handicapped accessible doors. So it's $15,675. The grant is going to come through, it's already been approved. We probably won't see the money until November or December, but we can go ahead and install them now, and the money will be coming back to the town somewhere around towards the end of the year. That's kind of the way it works. Angelo is, I met with him Last week, and he said it's all set to go. I got a call from his office today, and it's for $15,000, so, towards the total cost.
And the amount of $15,675.
And 80 cents.
And 80 cents. The electronic system will be done through the Center for Security on a state contract.
We have a motion?
I'll second it.
Doug? Lou?
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Councilman Esposito?
Yes.
Councilman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Supervisor Myers?
Yes. I apologize, Sandy, I didn't get that correction to you before. Okay, couple of things, before we go any further. George, our water commissioner, do you have anything for us this month?
Water's running fairly quiet. I gave all you guys copies of Richard Ducey. About he wants to extend water into Waynesburg.
Yeah.
We're going to discuss that later.
Well, after I let you gentlemen give your reports, we got next on the agenda.
Quiet month. The water bills all went out yesterday and today.
Good.
A couple meters still to grab yet. People on vacation, and meters don't want to read outside, so.
Okay.
But outside of that, everything's okay.
Board have anything for George?
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, Mr. Verini.
Okay, building inspector,
Yes.
everything's going pretty smooth. I've taken in 4 more permits since the last meeting. They've been issued. I pulled in, had a pretty big one. Empire started that building right up the road. They were approved, and they've got that new building. That was a pretty big permit fee. So I took in $5,059 in permits between June 14th and today. And there's a balance of $64,8099 in the building department checkbook. I've been working with several homeowners. I got a couple of possible new homes proposed. They're going through the proper zoning and setbacks and things like that. Other than that, field inspections, Empire, Mohawk Heating, working on that building. A couple of complaints here and there, answering a couple of, people call my phone, and I just, we accordingly. Other than that, I receive a lot of third-party inspection, electrical correspondence for solar, so I get a lot of that, and I have to close out those permits. But other than that, everything's going pretty smooth. Questions?
Anything from the board for Tom Verini?
Okay, thank you.
Tom.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else that I forgot?
George. The assessment.
He's not here. Oh, yes. Richard, do you have anything for us tonight?
Just to let you know, all the assessments are in line. Final roll was presented to the county on July 1st. Everything was done successfully. Thanks for your assistance, by the way. It was appreciated. In turn, we are just basically, I brought in, at my expense, 2 more, viewing screens, flat screens, to make things easier for the public to come on in, view their properties, their property lines, and or potential projects. This way, we can serve folks, no additional cost to help folks develop any ideas or plans they want to do, which will be an assistance to Tom and or yourselves.
Okay. Any questions for Richard Coleman? All right, thank you, Richard.
May I add something I forgot to add? I apologize. I just wanted to say it's a pleasure working with Richard. He came in, he's very helpful. We're working together as a team, and it's a pleasure working on Tuesday. We're both here on Tuesday night, and if I need help with his, IT, he's great with the computer, and if there's any issues like that. But I wanted to thank Richard, and I'm glad he got appointed. So,
Thank you, Tom. Okay, and we have nothing on DCO other than we have been receiving applications, resumes for that position, so that'll be in the works here in the near future. One other thing as far as for discussion, it was brought to my attention as George was mentioning earlier. We have a resident that lives on Darrell Road, and actually the house, I guess, is in Duanesburg, but his property is in our town, and he would like to hook into our water. So he would be hooking in as an out-of-district user, which would be a great help to our Darrell Road residents. So, Sandy, if we could, I'd like to add a resolution to the agenda tonight and ask the board what their feelings are and if we can vote it up or down.
What's the outside water,
That's 1.5 rate, 1.5 times
what the residents,
what the residents pay, yes. Yep.
does he know that?
That he is aware and he's supposed to be coming in and we're gonna go over all of that, but he has to get the okay from us and then he'll have to go present it to Duanesburg, to get their okay that they're okay and to use our water. So there's a process, but we just need board approval at this point in time if we want to take him on as a out-of-district user. So I was talking with George earlier and trying to accommodate that in tonight's meeting.
Do you have any problems with that, George?
No. We already talked, Doug Cole did, 10 years ago, they did an engineering study about pressure. Now, you have to guarantee your person 20 PSI minimum going into their house. And that there, he has about 30 to 35. So then you can put a booster pump in his house if he wants to boost the pressure up. But he'd be getting 30 to 35 from us. So he's got to go about 600 feet after tapping into the end of the main there on Darrell Road. So it is 1.5 times. Darrell Road is one of the more expensive streets, extensions. Told it to him once, and he'll be explained to him again before he signs the contract with Bob. That gets, this is what your July bill is going to be minimum. This is, your January tax bill. You're going to get another bill, even though you paid for the water line going to your house. You still got to pay for the water getting to that point, like everybody else.
Any other questions the board might have?
Who's responsible for paying for that to have with the homeowner or the tenant?
Homeowner.
That's all on the window.
What's the typical fee income that we'll get from the water?
What's that again?
What's the typical fee income that we'll get from the water usage?
$234 for minimum usage.
Okay.
And plus he'd be paying on a debt service, which would be 1.5 times, which is probably like $22, $23 a thousand on the valuation of his house.
Is there any, do you see any potential downside to hooking up?
No, it'd be, the more hookups we get, the better off it's for us for water turnover. It's a dead end road up there, so he'll be at the end of the line. There's that's gonna be in Princetown on the other side. I think it was Missoula, building a house on the opposite side. It's in Princetown. He's gonna have another 2-inch line right there, so we'll be using a lot of water at the end of the line that hadn't been used, getting fresh water up there. Since Don Lucarelli had talked about running an extension up, but too costly for him to run it up for his house, and even for 4 or 5 people to tap into it. Because they need a whole booster station and a building and generators and everything else at that point.
Yes, 1440. All right, anything further board have? All right, Cindy, can we just do a roll call on that resolution?
So the town board approves for the residents on Darrell Road.
The property number is 1448 Darrell Road.
At 1448 Darrell Road to hook up to Princetown water.
Correct. We have a motion to accept this.
I'll make it.
Doug?
I'll second.
Tom?
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Councilman Esposito?
Yes.
Councilman Liddell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Supervisor Myers?
Yes? Okay, one other thing I had on here for discussion is we've had some applicants coming to the planning board throughout, in a roundabout way for solar farms. And we don't have a solar farm law. So I've been looking into that and checking around. And hopefully here before too long, I will have my hands on a copy that the state and the county has been accepting for solar farm law. And when we get that, then I want to have our ZRC and our attorney has said that he would meet with them to go over it and help us get to where town of Princetown will have a law for solar farm. So that's in the works. Other than that, let's open it up for council member comments at this time. If they have any. Doug? Lou?
Yeah, just a couple comments about the Vietnam Wall coming to our town. I noticed Doug Thorpe is not here. He's done an excellent job preparing the site there. Donations have come in. We've secured all of the funds to pay for the wall itself. We're still soliciting for extra money for shirts and what have you that we're going to need. I think that everybody's come together on this. A lot of people have donated a lot of their time. I know my wife and I have been down here many nights working on this project. Let's see, it's going to be coming in on the 23rd. It's the 25th, but the trailer's going to be here on the 24th. It's coming in on the 23rd. It's coming in on the, let's see, the 25th. It's coming in on the 23rd, where it's going to be assembled on the 24th. Talked with the creators of the wall in Washington today. They're going to be up here for those 4 days. They're going to be up here. They're going to be staying at the, what's the name of the place? The Belvedere. The Belvedere Hotel over here in Rotterdam. And they're going to help show everybody how to find the names on the wall. And it's going to be quite a thing to have this come to our small town. All of the people that have donated all their time. I know Shalmont wants to be involved in it. It's going to be quite a thing. And Doug, can't say enough, he did an awful lot of work preparing this site up there. He worked tirelessly on it, and along with all the rest of the volunteers. So just want to thank everybody for that. I wish he was here tonight to explain more about it, but he's not here. So anybody have any questions about it, I'd be more than happy to answer them. And the books are open. All of the money that came in, it's got nothing to do, the town is not affiliated other than that they signed the contract. It's not going to cost the town any money for this bringing it here. This was all done by donations from businesses and the people in the town have contributed, along with people not in the town of Princetown. Like I said before, as far down to South Carolina that we've gotten a donation from. So and businesses have really come through too, along with all of the residents, not only in Princetown, but Rotterdam, Melanson, Schoharie, Clifton Park. So we just want to say thank you to all of the people that contributed to it. And if anybody wants to see the books, if there's any question about it, even though it's not affiliated with the town, Cheryl's got the books, my wife's got the books. They're more than welcome to come over and look at them to see what money, a little bit of money have we spent so far. We just paid for the deposit on it. When it arrives here, the remainder of the check will be written. So, and it's not going to be coming from the town, it'll be coming from the monies that we raised. And we did pay back the town the $27.50 for the deposit, so that was probably, I think, the first week that we started receiving donations, so just again, I want to thank everybody for all of the help they've done. And state police, we're just going to continue to do the maintenance on the building, new fence they needed, and a couple windows have to be replaced. We've done most of the major things this year. They need steps out there. I'm supposed to get some prices for steps over there, find a contractor that wants to put in steps on the backside. In pretty bad shape. So, other than that, anybody got any questions from the board? I'm more than happy to answer.
Thank you, Lou. Tom?
I don't have anything.
Susan? No? Okay, there was one thing that I did overlook, again, there's so much for the meeting, I'm sorry. In regards to what Carol talked to us about, we should do a brief resolution to add, Sandy, as far as further donations, you know, such as money coming from the state and stuff for the wall project coming. You know, that does come to the town, then it should be turned over to the wall committee. Well, no, the wall that's coming, and whatever is not spent goes to, they take, you know, the funding or donations goes to the veterans and so forth with the wall.
We spend grant money first.
Yes,
And any private donations that come in, Lou can tell you about that.
Yes.
If at the end of the day there's anything, it just gets, we will donate it back to the wall that heals.
right. That's what I was trying to get across, that whatever was left goes back to the wall that heals.
I might add one other thing about that. We're expecting probably thousands of people to come to this. I know that Clifton Park had a very large turnout, not the same one. We're expecting a very large turnout, weather permitting. It all depends on the weather, but people still seem to come. It's going to be open 24 hours a day for the entire time that it's here. So. And we're going to be picking it up, the trailer. It's going to be going into the, from what I understand now, they want to have a little ceremony down at the Veterans Park in the city. We're going to stop there. We're going to have a little ceremony there with the veterans at the Stanford Memorial Park over there on State Street. And the state police will be escorting us, and the Patriot Riders is going to escort us in too. So. Other than that.
All right. If the board has no further comments, I will open up to the privilege of...
We have to do the resolution.
Oh,
Resolution.
I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of the game. Go ahead.
Correct me if this is inaccurate. Any money received that is left after the donations are in will be donated back to the wall that heals.
No, incorrect. All money that comes into the town through state grants, which will be given to the town, will then be diverted, will then be given to what's called the Wall That Heals in Princetown, I think is the name of it.
Okay.
So what, part of the resolution is not where the money will go after, it's just so you can say now, the Veterans Wall at Princetown, excuse me. So the resolution should say, any money that comes in via state grant, which obviously has to come into the town of Princetown, will then be, whatever that word is, Gerard, give me a word, diverted, sent to, given to, directed.
To what organization?
Veterans Wall at Princetown.
Wall That Heals at
National
Princetown.
organization.
No.
Why are you calling it Princetown?
Veterans Wall.
What's the, should we say the account number, the account name, what's the account name?
Veterans Wall, Princetown.
Veterans Wall at Princetown.
Is that your local account or the national?
Local account.
That's our local
Yeah,
account.
It's the same issue with the civic that was talking about. You're not supposed to be giving money to volunteer groups. Period. I know it's been done in the past for 1,000 years, but it came up, I don't know how you want to continue to, but we talked about it last week. I think if there's bills to pay, the town, correct me if I'm wrong, the town can pay the bills with the grant directly when they're submitted, and then anything left over would go to the national.
Yes, that's where it's supposed to go.
I mean, we talked about the issue of having volunteer
So it's
spend town money.
So it's a voucher situation?
Well,
I
I
mean,
think
that's
it should
fine.
be, yeah.
That's fine.
I know it hasn't been that way for a long time, but I.
Right, if that's, that would be fine. I mean, however is the correct way of doing
Submit
it.
it to the,
We could do it by voucher.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think a
Fine.
resolution could say that any state grants received for the wall will be used to pay expenses, and any excess remaining would go to the national wall in accordance with the contract.
Okay, so by a voucher.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
I mean, it's up to you guys.
No, that's,
Thank you for the explanation. I mean, I wasn't getting it clear.
you want to recommend?
You okay with that, Sandy, or still on?
Any money that comes in through state grants and donations will be donated to the National Veterans Wall by voucher.
No,
No.
no.
And I don't have it then.
Okay.
So I have a vote.
Any monies received by the town via state grants, however you would word it, Sandy, will be used to pay
Expenses.
expenses
Expenses for the
for
wall.
the wall that heals coming to Princetown. And word it in your own best way. Via voucher.
I'll give it a shot, Sandy.
Yeah. You're our secretary.
I'll get it right.
Any money received via state grants will be used to pay expenses for the wall that heals at Princetown via voucher. We're not putting in their state grant anymore. I'm sorry.
You had any money
No,
received from state?
I'm sorry. Any monies received for the purpose of bringing the wall that heals to Princetown, right? Right from right. Yeah. I didn't get it early enough to print this stuff out for you, but I'll come in tomorrow and put it in your mailbox. Okay.
Is it too cold in there for everyone? Everybody over here is going on like this. It's perfect.
Send some over down the hall.
I'm sorry.
Everybody's complaining that it was too hot. No.
See, crazy, this is my husband.
Is it cold?
Awful.
Cold? Cold. Or like this. Go way back. It's cold. It's cold. At first it's too hot, then it's too cold.
All right, any money received for the purpose of the wall that heals via state grants will be used to pay expenses for the wall that heals at Princetown as submitted by voucher, and any funds remaining are to be delivered to the wall that heals as per the contract.
We have a motion to accept that. Lou?
I'll second.
Councilman Bryan?
Yes.
Councilman Esposito?
Yes.
Councilman LaBelle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Supervisor Myers?
Yes. All right. Okay, that takes care of that. Now we have privileges of the floor again. Does anybody want?
I just have a suggestion, Bob. In regards to, you know, all the upheaval with the security and the monitors and the viewing and this, it's tape versus camera. There are telephones that have the monitor right on it. We have them at school, as I started to tell you. Those outside doors are locked in the schools. They hit the buzzer, you see who's there, you have a choice to let them in or not. This monitor, not the cameras, anyone in this building should be safe. That is not the issue. The issue is the monitor and the viewing. And I thank you, town board, for making this change and going forward. I think it's a positive thing. It's going in the right direction. You guys are working very hard. The majority of the board is working very hard to move forward and to get beyond all the nonsense from the previous administration. Unfortunately, they like to drag it in, but you guys are moving forward and doing great things. That's all.
I think, just for clarification, I don't think there's cameras inside the courts.
I'd be surprised.
The monitor is there, but the cameras are out in the lobby, the halls, and outside, so. Okay, any other privileges of the floor before we, Carol?
Actually, with regard to that same monitor thing situation, actually, it's a shame that it's gotten to this point. I also think monitors are good. I also worked here by myself. I also had situations, and I didn't have monitors, so I don't discredit what you're saying. What I do discredit is the fact that a monitor was put in, it's held by a particular person, and he is in violation of FOIL. One cannot be in violation of FOIL. There's a particular law, and this person should have followed it. And I think, in retrospect, the town board should have kind of thought this whole process out. And I'm thinking not particularly this board, but I think when it went in. Sandra is the town clerk. She's the FOIL officer, and Sandra has to say in what is can be released for FOIL. It is not up to a particular judge or an assessor. It is up to our FOIL officer. If she has a problem with that, she has legal counsel of the town board in which she can get counsel and advice. In this situation, we unfortunately have a person who stood above that law and thus has proven himself to be in violation of FOIL. So I think something has to be done. I think we can move forward, or the town board can, put monitors everywhere. But I think you should also be respectful of people that come into this town hall and do business, such as our residents, that they're not always monitored. I mean, it has to be a happy medium, and I don't know what that is, but I'm just saying. We have a situation where we have a person in violation, and something has to be done about it. So, to the councilwoman, I just wanted to address that. Thank you.
And as I mentioned before, I did talk to the judge in regards to that. I let him know that as far as him refusing of FOIL, that was, not his call. And in fact, I had a long talk with him, a lot longer than what I had planned on. But that's neither here nor there. But we did discuss that, and we've got to be consistent in what we do, and denying some and allowing others, we can't
It's not.
do that, so.
And that's up to Sandra,
And
not anyone else.
in regards, again, like I said, as far as the camera, the monitors, they are not here for personal, get even, they're not, our surveillance in the town is not for personal use, basically, okay? And that's the way I don't want it that way,
Right.
okay? It's for town protection, basically, it's not for political agendas, it's not for personal surveillance. So, like I said earlier, if you've got issues with people in town, town hall is not the place to take care of it. So, that's my pet peeve, and I guess I'm just reiterating that. I appreciate all the...
So on camera, I will be expecting to get a letter.
I'm sorry?
On camera, I'll be expecting to get a letter.
Me too, Carol.
Okay.
Okay. The vicious letters.
I would like to
Okay.
say something about the letters.
Okay.
I don't know who's getting them. I've never seen any, but I know that it's going both ways, because my daughter got a letter.
Oh, did she get, was it about me? 'Cause I'll
Yes,
tell
she
you.
did.
Okay.
And it was very nasty.
Yes, it was.
So who are you to talk about anybody else?
I
don't
got the
know.
letter.
Okay.
It was about
ladies.
me and my family.
All right, well, you wrote it out.
I wrote about
Lisa?
Sue. My daughter.
I did not write about
Ma'am,
Sue.
Lisa, you gotta address to the
I have a letter
board.
right here.
Let Susan read the letter.
No, we
email.
don't. Not now.
I don't, and I'm saying, I chose not to bring it up.
Okay.
Even after everyone was talking about all the letters.
Okay.
But I do have letters.
The email?
We all do.
Yes, I
That's
know,
the
it was
only-
forwarded to all of you. And I
No,
did
no,
not.
it wasn't forwarded to me.
It most certainly was.
It
It's
says
got
your name right on it.
Well, I
and
didn't
West
get it.
Casino.
I didn't get it.
Well, it was in your mail,
Well,
your email, because I got it in
and I
mine.
know nothing of it, so,
That's what I'm just trying to say. I've been in this town as long as anybody else up there.
okay.
And it always, everybody got along. My mother, you put windows in our farm. I mean, we worked with everybody. And to see this stuff that's going on here, I never came to town board meetings, but I'm really upset. I was so upset I cried the first time I came to a board meeting. Because to hear everybody, the disrespect for the town board, when they get voted in, I don't care whether it's the other people or these people, I don't care who gets voted in. I think they deserve respect,
Thank you,
and they're not getting it.
thank you.
I don't mean even just you, I mean the past board.
Oh, I understand.
Whoever is up there, they got voted in by a majority. And it's not just the old timers like us, it's new people. And we've got to listen to everybody and take their feelings into consideration. And this is so upsetting, I'm shaking right now, just hearing all of this stuff that goes on. I can't stand it. It's terrible if they got terrible letters. I don't know who's writing them.
I do.
You think you do.
I do.
How do you know though? This is what I'm saying. This
Well, I
is,
was told by the person who wrote the person.
well, they didn't sign it? I mean, I
They
know.
sign it with dead people's names.
Yeah,
Well, that's
okay.
terrible, and if that's happening, it shouldn't. But it's not everybody that's doing that.
Okay,
You're correct, it's not.
okay, this is again, it's
Something
just,
has to be
Yes.
stopped.
Well,
This
I
has
would-
to stop.
ma'am, I would love to stop it, and I wish I knew who was doing it, because I would confront
It's both
myself.
sides, is what I'm saying. It's
Well-
not just one-sided. Every time anybody gets up and talks, it's always them against them. This is ridiculous. It's one town.
But you know what, can I
Okay,
just say
Lisa,
this? This
Lisa.
unfortunately started with Mike Joyce. He
No,
set-
no,
yes,
it did not.
Okay.
He set the
Please,
pace to
one
get
person,
people against one another, and it's sad, because people don't even like each other, and you don't even know them.
Well,
It
I've
don't
got
even know
something
who they
to
are.
say to the board, that I didn't know anybody as far as just friends. And when I came to that first town board meeting and saw the disrespect that Mike Joyce, and I didn't even know who he was or his name, I gotta be honest, I didn't. When I saw the disrespect for him, I left and I cried, literally.
But you never got a letter.
Listen, you let me finish, please.
Go on.
I was so upset. And I went and I talked to him personally to see why everybody was so upset. And the things that people were mentioning, he showed me what he was doing about it. I saw with my own eyes the facts. And he did not lie. He was showing me things that I saw about complaints people were giving. He was trying to get that solved. I didn't know Mike Joyce. I didn't care who he was, but he was working for the town. And he was getting the job done the best he knew how. I don't know whether he's right or wrong, but I can't stand the way the town is being separated.
Nobody can.
Well, you're talking every meeting. You're arguing right when people are talking. This has got to stop. You have no right to do that any more than
I
anybody
have a right
else.
to my opinion, and I'm the
Not
one
during
that
the,
gets these,
not during the meeting.
I'm the one that gets these letters. And if I'd like to share
Lisa?
with you, you can have
I
it.
had the floor.
Lisa, please,
I'm sick of it.
we are too.
We are.
We
We
are.
all are.
Okay, thank you. If I might just say, and this probably won't mean diddly squat to any of you, but I come from a religious background. And I heard just recently about an illustration, and I know it's getting late. A rowboat. If one person's rowing one way, the other person's rowing the other way, you go nowhere. But if you also have people in the boat that are trying to rock the boat, they need to get out. That's the way I feel
There's a
tonight.
lot of people
If
here that
people are in the
doing
boat that don't want to get with the program, maybe they don't agree with us, but they need to get out, stop what's happening. And I've appreciated some of what's been mentioned. I feel for these people that are getting letters. I've been there.
it. We are too.
Right, I've been there. It's very low. And you know, again, from my background, people that are doing these things will not have a place in heaven. And that's biblical. So I will take and leave my religious quotes undone and there,
We all
but
agree.
I think some people are going to have some answering to do at the judgment day. I'm sorry for getting a little, but this is the way I feel. I want to see our town go forward. I want this nonsense to stop, and I'm not going to allow this political stuff, everything. We are trying to
Say
do what's in
one
the
more
best
thing.
interest of our town.
You don't want political stuff.
That's
But
correct.
every time anything is said on the other side, it's political. But when anybody here says anything that's not political, it is.
Well, let me just...
And they get away with it. It's on camera, and everybody has to hear their side.
Okay.
The other side never gets heard because it's political. This is what's wrong.
Okay, but then they're the ones that were in office before, ma'am, and I didn't get...
And that's all you're talking about is putting that down. Don't, go forward.
We're
Stop
trying to
putting
go
it
forward.
past.
We're trying to go forward, and this is, I'm going to tell right now, there's some reason why I didn't give the gentleman earlier his answers. Because when he got up last meeting, he was very disrespectful. If you want to get up and ask me a question as a civil resident of town, I will do my best to get you an answer. But these people that are trying to rock the boat, they will not get answers from me, and that's it.
I don't see it as rocking the boat.
It is
I
rocking
think
the
if
boat.
he has questions, you should answer them. He is a
Well-
town person, just like I am.
He can treat
just
me
like
with
you are.
respect.
I think everybody deserves answers. If it's open and transparent, as everybody says they do, everything should be answered.
But they were getting political, and we're not doing political stuff here at the town board meeting.
Only if it's one-sided.
Okay,
I'm
thank
sorry.
you. Thank you. Anybody
It's
else?
I just wanted to check, I'm looking at the numbers, I stepped out of the room not to affect your vote or anything like that. Is that a typo for the December 31st date?
No, we changed that. We corrected that. Yes, that's what I was talking about. I was not aware of that, Richard, when I talked to you, but we changed that to the September 30th, 2019.
Thank you very much.
So that will be corrected.
That's appreciated.
Yep. Okay, we have a motion to adjourn. I make it. Okay?
Hi.